I'm going to talk about what is active learning today. This is something very critical to understand that when we are dealing with young children, 0 to 6 years, in early childhood education and care, we have to focus on high quality early educational programs. Now, there are several ways you can define what is a high quality program look like in early childhood. However, we're going to look at some tested signs or evidences that claims that this, if all of the elements are there, we can claim that this preschool or this center or early childhood center is a high quality. So before we go to that, that's going to be part of my video, but the next video. So subscribe this channel. I've seen that 68% of you watch my videos, but you haven't subscribed. So those who have subscribed, I really thank you. That really encourages me to come up with the content that might really add value to your professional development, child development, and the other interest areas that you have. So this is going to be an inclusive channel. So subscribe it if you really want free education, free teacher training workshops. This is a channel for you. This is the video I'm going to talk about what is active learning. Lately, we've seen a drive that people are acknowledging the fact that the approaches of the curriculum that supports progressiveness or suppose the open-minded learning experience from the teaching learning process is appreciated. We are talking about active learning approach. You give it any name, you call it constructivist theory, or you call it active learning approach, or you call it whatever. The essence is the same, and the essence is around the child's idea or the research that says how children learn. And that is that active learning has its roots in constructivism. And I tell you what it means. It means that in any active learning environment, children take an active role in choosing materials to work with or play with, and activities. So around their interests, they have that freedom of choice, to choose what to play with at the moment. Teachers are there to support, facilitate, and scaffold children in their play to develop skills. Okay. Now, teachers' role is not just to give information or the knowledge that children might need in that particular scene, but they are around children. So, for instance, I picked up my favorite material as a highlighter. Now, I, as a child, am exploring. Teacher's role here would be to sort of give language in my activity, inquire about my curiosity, and show me the way I can scaffold my learning. So if I'm able to open and close it, what would be the next level? So teacher might say, hey, I wonder, would you like to try it and rub it on the paper? So I'll sort of, use it on the paper. And, your questions keep going on. So those inquiry questions for children, not too many questions. Okay, this is in asterisk, note down. You don't ask children questions they don't know the answer to. Okay, you ask children question you think they have so they have a past experience, or they have an understanding of that concept. And if you think it's new, don't start with, so what do you think is the KWL? So what they know, you should be doing it earlier, not while you're delivering that content. So the teacher's role in active learning environment becomes as a facilitator, where her job is to sort of describe what they're doing, be aware of the learning content that they are sort of willing to weave into, and scaffold child's learning from where they are to the next. So as suggested by high scope of in any active learning environment, we go horizontal way. So where the child is right now to the next level, not where the classroom standard goal is and you pull the child towards the teacher. So teacher walks with the child's pace. That's the part of differentiated instruction. But this very subtle example of how active learning might look like, how teacher's role might look like in active learning. So what do they do is they support and scaffold children in their play to develop skills around a curriculum framework that ensures all areas of early childhood development are addressed. So what are the development areas, such as it could be social emotional development, physical development, health, cognitive development, which includes maths and science and technology, social studies, creative arts, to mention. So all of these developmental areas are addressed through one activity by, but when, and this is possible in active learning environment, when children are an active role, they play an active role in leading, in choosing, and teachers are supporting them. So what happens is those conflict that might arise in children's acceptance and agreements in doing that particular activity or not, their engagement level, their sort of energy, their sort of attention on that particular activity is already nullified when you offer the choice and interest of the children at first. So that's why the curriculum that I sort of advocate is active learning, in active learning approaches, that any curriculum which is developed considering the three aspects: child's interest, development, and the key content area. So if you sort of make a Venn diagram of all of three, you get the learning activity that you can design. And when you do it, it's easier for you to implement because you're really reducing down the conflict and the noise that may come across if you're not leading a session which is driven or towards children's interest, right? And I think I don't need to give you the evidence why it works. Is that you give a child, you tell a child that today we are going to learn about number two, whatever, or numbers, or the concept of more. And at the same time, you say, hey, we are going to learn, or we are going to explore how many pinballs do we have in the basket, and which basket is having more number of pinballs than the other. Now, which one will be more interesting for the child? Where there are materials, there's scope of manipulation, where there's scope of choice. And you can add choices like, okay, the color of the pinballs will be chosen by you. So they'll be like, okay, so when children choose, the only psych here we are talking about is when children are making choices, they are taking ownership of, being engaged in that activity because it's their choice. Versus teacher telling them to do XYZ, there's a huge impact. So you can see the difference in your own classrooms. You can pick any of the activities from your past or try today and see which sort of approach is working effectively. And how do you know if it is effective? If children are engaged for a long period of time. Okay, so, and there is a balance between teacher directed. So this whole thing that I explained is actually giving you a balance between teacher directed and student centered or student directed learning. So choices of the colors are by children and the activity chosen by teacher based on child's interest. So there's sort of an equilibrium in give and take between teacher and child. Teachers provide opportunities for key learning experiences and at the same time include children's interests, which reflects constructivist ideals. So if I sort of summarize what active learning, is all about, then I'll be just doing it in a way. Active learning has its roots in constructivism. In an active learning environment, children take an active role in choosing materials and activities. Teachers support and scaffold children in their play to develop skills around the curriculum frame that ensures all the areas of development, early childhood development are addressed. There is this balance between teacher directed and student directed learning, and teachers provide opportunities for key learning experiences at the same time, includes children's interests, which reflects constructivist ideals. So, and how do you say it's active learning? So that could be our next work, wherein, teachers play a very important role in an active learning setup, which I say being partners in play. So partners in play or participating in children's play is very unique approach wherein you sort of, be at child's level and allow the child to be around that trustworthy environment. And this is another asterisk for you to note. Children learn in trusting environments, trusting relationships. If you want your children to learn from you, the first thing is to establish trust. And the trust can come when children trust you, when they see you, how you behave, what you say, is it in their interest or not? So when teachers participate in their play, which sort of children are directing, say in a indoor play space or choice time, um, teachers partner with children and families and participate in play to encourage problem solving and give encouragement rather than praise. We're going to have an extensive workshop or training here about why we focus on encouragement strategies, and we say that please don't praise. So encouragement versus praise is something that is a biggest question, and that is something that is stopping us from attaining that goal that we really acquire in this whole industry. I'll tell you why. Because praise has certain impact on our dopamine, on our behavior, and because we do it when children are young, it impacts them as an adult. So their behavior patterns are driven how they have seen people responding and behaving with them in certain spaces and times. So we talk about this very critical aspect. If you're a school leader, you must watch that video, because you're going to get insights about whether or not you yourself are using this strategy with your team. Hence, if you do the same, the team is going to do implement the same in the classroom. And if you as a school encourage more of encouragement and not praise, parents are also going to be educated, so the entire community is going to be of help. So subscribe to this channel and stay tuned. Okay. So teachers support student experimentation and exploration and guide children forward in their development. So like I said, there's this horizontal approach where the child is here and learning is here or here. So you don't pull the child up, but child is here, the teacher walks with the child to the next level of development. That's the whole idea of horizontal approach. From where the child is to the next level. And who defines and designs the next level? You are going to use the standard tested document that research gives us. One of it I have. If you're interested, comment, I can provide that information to you otherwise. So thank you so much. I hope that the active learning is, getting through you. Now, there are 5 ingredients of active learning, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. But first, get what active learning is. Go to your classroom, analyze whether you are, appreciating those elements of active learning environment in your classroom. Wherever you see that, okay, I missed something that I spoke just now, and you write that down, maybe in the next video you'll get an answer to that, or then the Monday. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope this learning adds value to your day-to-day practices in the classroom. Thank you so much. Namaste.